definitely the person who showed it to you.
Why?
That's
because
hilarious.
they understood the rules,
They
right?
understood the game.
So once I began to understand the rules from these rich people, I said, I got to go back to the community. I got to teach these principles. I got to teach these principles. I began to do the principles myself 10 years ago, and I've become massively successful doing that, right?
Right.
I've been able to build tax-free income, do real estate, and do a lot of things.
I hope y'all didn't miss that. He didn't say tax-deferred income. He said tax-free income. Now, tax-free income strategies they're on another level, y'all. Especially for some of you high net worth individuals. You really want to pay, but everybody, whether you're high net worth or not, you want to pay attention to this.
Right.
Because anybody who's paying taxes, most people who are paying taxes are paying way too much in taxes.
Way too much. Much. So there are things that people know that they know, Myron. Things that you know it. You know how to tie your shoe. There are things that people know that they don't know. If you know that you don't know it, you can go look it up. You can learn it. But the blind spots are things that you know that you don't know.
Right, 100%.
I mean, you don't know that you don't know. Because if you don't know that you don't know it, it's a blind spot. So unless somebody opens up your eyes and you see it, you'll be stuck following the traditional system, which is things that you know that you don't know. But we want to move you to a different stratosphere, those things that you don't know that you don't know. And what I've learned is that there are 3 different types of people when it comes to money. You have a debtor, you have a saver, and then you have a wealth creator.
Come on now.
The
Which
debtor.
one do you want to be?
Exactly. How many debtors do we have in the house? No,
Right.
I'm just kidding. So the debtor, what they do is they go into debt. They spend their entire life attempting to become debt free. They want to get out of the rat race. In fact, they believe that if someone comes today and simply pays off their debt, they'll be financially free.
But financial freedom and debt freedom are not the same thing.
No.
And so it's so interesting that you're telling people this is a financial abundance.
Because all they are is at zero.
They're at zero.
There are homeless
Debt-free
people on
is
the
still
street that are at zero.
That are debt free.
That doesn't mean they're financially free.
Exactly.
Right? So then you got the saver. Now the saver is a level up, but the saver isn't too much further ahead. This is the crazy thing. The saver, they're going to save, and then they're going to pay cash. Then they're going to do the same thing. They're going to save, and then they're going to pay cash. You got to understand what's happening. Every time that you save and you pay cash, you are interrupting the forward momentum of your money, and now you have to get back to where you were just to begin saving again.
So interestingly enough, my nephew called me day before yesterday. He's like, Uncle Myron, I'm thinking about buying a car and I want to pay cash for it, but I said, Uncle Myron explained something to me about this before and he showed me it didn't make sense, and I told him why rich people borrow money, and so I was like, well, why wouldn't I want to pay cash for a car? And his wife was there because she wanted to pay cash for a car too, because he's got a good job.
Yep.
And they have that you have that sense of security. Well, if I pay cash for my car, I don't have to worry about getting behind on the payments and nobody can come take it from me. Here's the problem though.
Yep.
If you can use somebody else's money to buy something, whether it be a house, a car, whatever, a piece of land, whatever, if you can use somebody else's money cheaper than you can use your own, then you should always borrow the money to buy it.
Absolutely. Here's the deal. You finance everything you buy, whether you know it or not. You either pay somebody else interest to use their money, or you lose the interest that you could have earned had you not used your own money.
Exactly. So here's what I told him. I said, okay, here's why I borrow money. There's nothing I need to buy that I couldn't pay cash for. I wanted to go buy a $2 million house right now and write a check for it, I could do that. Right? I wanted to go buy a $100,000 or $500,000 car right now and write a check for it, I could do that. But there's no universe in which I would do that. Why? Because the bank will loan me money at 4%.
Yep.
3%, 6%. They'll loan me money, I mean, a little cheaper because good credit, but let's say they 4%. So I told him, I said, okay, let's say you're going to pay $100,000 for this car, and the bank will loan you $100,000 at 4%. That means you're going to pay $4,000 interest on that loan, and you only pay that for the first year because the next year it's going to be a little less because you paid it on some of the principal.
Yep.
I said, but what if you're making 20% on your money in an investment? So it costs you $16,000 a year.
Wow.
To save $4,000 a year if you use your own money, say use the bank's money.
By the way, Myron,
It doesn't make any sense.
this is why there are big banks and small houses.
Exactly.
Let me explain. You have the small house because you're trying to pay extra on a 3% interest rate to get the house paid off so you can be debt free on the house. The banks are using your money to go out and invest in other assets to make interest on that money because they understand the power of leverage, and you're trying to pay everything off with cash. So that's the main foundation. So rich people, they use debt to get rich.
Use debt to create wealth, 100%. And it's so interesting. Like, you put your money in the bank, you loan your money to the bank interest free. You say, I don't loan my money to the bank interest free. You got a checking account, don't you? You got a checking account. You're loaning your money to the bank interest free, and then they loan you that same money back on a credit card and charge you 18 to 24%
off your own money.
Loaning you your money. Not to mention the fractional reserve banking system, which we don't have time to talk about today. Not to mention the fact that banks are investing the money that you're saving in their bank, and your savings rate is not keeping up with the prime rate, but the money they're making on your money as they're investing it is way greater than the prime rate. That's why you got big banks and little bitty houses in every town you go into.
By the way, this is one of the things that I learned from Myron when I joined the mentorship. I learned to take my money out of the bank and put it somewhere else. And that made me $300,000 within 2 weeks just by having my money accessible in a brokerage account, which is, by the way, way more insured than a bank. FDIC insured. People say, well, should I do insurance? What is insurance scary? Do you know what FDIC stand for? Federal Deposit Insurance Company. Do you know that there are more bank failures, like not even close, like 100 times more bank failures than insurance companies ever have been, and brokerage accounts ever have been? So you got to understand that you're getting paid not only lower interest rate, you're insured less, and even if something happened, FDIC insurance is not going to pay you right away.
100%. And FDIC insurance at Wells Fargo or Bank of America or Chase Bank or whatever bank you bank with is only up to $250,000. Right? In a brokerage account, it's going to be insured up to $1 million to $1.5 million per account. Did you hear what I said? Per account versus $250,000 per account. That's why it doesn't make sense to ever have more than $250,000 in a bank. So
it doesn't. So you got to understand, you all. You got to understand who you're getting your information from. If you're ever studying money principles and you're getting advice from, even if they're a financial advisor, you want to ask yourself is what position is that financial advisor in?
100%.
Are they creating passive assets, or do they have a job the same way that you do?
When financial advisors call me trying to sell me, that's the question I ask them. So let me ask you a question. Are you wealthy? No, I'm not, but I understand these principles. Okay, good. You go create your own wealth, then you come back and tell me what to do with mine.
Absolutely. So now I'm able to invest millions and millions and millions of dollars, but when I first came to wealthy individuals and said I'm a financial advisor, they was like, you're a financial advisor? Nice seeing you. You know, they're walking away.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's why I have to let people know now, like, I'm not that traditional financial advisor. I prove what I do. I build wealth, and I teach different strategies so that I can go back and teach people the strategies of the 1%. Why? Because I'm one of them now. Okay. So I can't teach something that I don't know. I can't go somewhere that I've never been before. I mean, I can't, so good. You know, so that's great, yeah.
Good, so good. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Share with these people how they can become their own bank and like create tax-free income.
There are several ways to do it. First off, you got to be a master. And somebody write this down if you're listening live or even if you're in the chat. Write down the word leverage. Write down the word leverage. You have to be a master at leverage, okay? Which means you have to be great at using other people's money, other people's time, other people's systems, other people's authority, whatever it takes, other people's skills, other people's everything. But when it comes to money, like you got a bunch of equity sitting in your house. Why? You're earning 0%. Use that money to make you wealthy, okay? 100%. You got a bunch of money in a brokerage account. Did you know that you can even borrow against some of that money into the brokerage account? Real estate, you can borrow against that. Life insurance, that's what I learned from the wealthy, that you can actually put money into a life insurance policy. It will grow completely tax-free, which means no taxes.
And the money that you put into it, like the money you pay into it is tax-free, right? And then it grows tax-free, right?
Grows tax-free. I just
want to make sure I understand. Okay, go ahead.
So depending on how you structure it, if you structure it the right way with the correct LLCs and business accounts and structures, it can be that way. But you have to make sure that you talk to somebody that know what they're talking about, or else you're going to pay a whole lot more taxes that you didn't have to pay, right? So what's going to happen is it's going to grow tax-deferred, and get this, it's unstructured loans. What that means is that you can come in at any time as long as you got enough money in there. They don't check your credit report. They're not checking if you got a job. They're not checking your income. If you got the money, you can use it to borrow against it. They're not making you wait. It's within 2 days, you got the money to borrow against. You can get it you can put money in, and literally, if you do it right, within 30 days, you can immediately start to borrow against that money. What that's doing for you is helping you make money 2 to 3 times off the same dollar.
Good, Marvin.
One more thing, this is going to be a powerful thing. It's also interest only. What does that mean to you? It's interest only, which means if you structure it the right way, they don't even charge you interest for 13 months. So that means that if I pay it back before 13 months, I never paid any interest on that money, which means if I borrow money from my policy, let's say I borrow $50,000 and I flip a property. I flip that property, I actually pay back the profits within that 13-month time frame.
You pay off the $50,000, you mean?
I pay off the $50,000 within that 13-month time frame. Not only did I continue to make money off of that account tax-free, but I also made money on a real estate property, and I paid the money back, and I paid no interest at all. So it was basically an interest-free loan. If I'm loaning money to other people who are doing real estate, I can actually loan money out. People do hard money lending. I can be a hard money lender. I can still make 5 to 6% on my money in my insurance account tax-free. I can.
That's good.
When I give them a loan, there's no taxes. They pay me back the loan, and
Plus
then
interest.
plus interest. And I paid my insurance company back, which gave me the collateral capacity to loan out more. And then one more thing, this is powerful. The money grows the same in those policies, whether I borrow against it or not. Which means that I better borrow against it, or else the insurance isn't the becoming your own bank. It's the mentality, it's the concept of what's becoming your own bank. An insurance policy is not going to solve your problems. If you understand how to work it and you understand how to master it and you understand how to leverage your account, that's going to master your money. So to give you one real quick thing that I did really quick. So you know about the option play that I did. I'll tell them about it.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things Myron told me is to put my money into a brokerage account and have it ready. So what I did was I had my money into a brokerage account, and I actually took some money from my insurance policy too, because it was going to keep growing, put it into a brokerage account that's double leverage already. So when GameStop, that stock went way up, I said, there's no way that the big guys are going to keep letting this happen. It's going to go back down the next day. So I did what's called bought a put, but I used the money I borrowed from my insurance policy. It was actually $100K. I'm not recommending you do that, but it was $100K, and I actually put it on GameStop going down by 100 points. The reason why I had the confidence to do that is because this is the powerful thing. If I had not necessarily hit on that call, if I would have lost $100,000, I truly wouldn't have really lost it. Although I lost it, I didn't lose it. What that means is, if I didn't hit on that, yes, I don't have the $100,000, but it's still in the insurance policy as if I never touched it, growing tax-free, and I don't have to pay it back. You don't have to pay a loan back, you all. It's simply subtracted from your death benefit when you die.
Okay, so let me. And I know so I know you're probably pulling your eyebrows out like with excitement right now, right? How do I do this? This man is awesome. Is this recorded? Yes, it's recorded. And so let me break something down to y'all. When he says you borrow the money out, let's say you have $100,000, let's say you have a $500,000 life insurance policy, and you borrow $100,000 from the $100,000 life insurance policy. Now, if you died, your family's only going to get $400,000 instead of $500,000. They're not going to have to pay the $100,000 back.
Yep.
Okay, so you're borrowing against the death benefit. That's what he means when he says that.
Right.
So
and that's correct. I want to make sure I clear it up. The collateral is against the death benefit. When you're borrowing, because I get some people to get confused by this, it's only based off the money that you put in first. So you have to put the money in, and you can only borrow up to what you put in. But your death benefit is always much larger. So if I have a $100,000 cash value, I got a $500,000 death benefit. So if I borrow $80,000 from this cash value and don't pay it back, $500,000 minus $80,000 plus interest is subtracted from the death benefit. Your heirs still get that money tax-free. So I knew that if I lost that $100,000, I didn't really lose it because it still would go to my heirs minus that amount of money. My heirs lost it, but I didn't lose it. But because I hit on it, that's $300,000 that I earned in a day. I paid my insurance company back, so that it allowed me to increase my borrowing capacity in the future.
So let me help you understand a couple of other things too. That he didn't he covered, but because he knows it and you haven't learned it yet, it's new to you. So understand this. He said the stock went down and he made 300,000 points. And $300,000. And I know some of you are thinking, but wait a minute, I thought you make money when the stock market goes up.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So here's how it works. Do you make money when the stock market goes up? Do you make money when the stock market goes down? Or do you make money when the stock market goes sideways? And the answer is it depends on your position. If you're in the right position when the stock market goes down, you can make a boatload of money. I literally made 6 figures today because the stock market is down like hundreds of points.
He showed me this year. I was like $100,000.
Yeah, 140. Well, that's 140. Last time I was up $140,000 today. because the stock market went down, right? So why? Because I positioned myself to make money if it went down. When it gets ready to bounce, I'm going to position myself on the opposite side, and when it goes back up, I'll make money again. So I'll get to double dip on that same movement. And so you're not going to learn how to do that overnight, but you didn't learn how to ride a bike overnight. You didn't learn how to use a computer overnight. You didn't learn how to use a telephone overnight. You didn't even learn how to feed yourself overnight. So give yourself some time. And by the way, don't look at it and say, "Oh, this is just too hard." What do you mean too hard?